Perched at the edge of Rocky Mountain National Park in Estes Park, Colorado, the Stanley Hotel is more than a historic landmark. It is a living legend in American paranormal lore. Since opening its doors in 1909, the Stanley has drawn in guests from around the world with its breathtaking views, stately colonial revival architecture, and above all, its reputation as one of the most haunted hotels in the United States. Stay tuned until the end of the video for a special message from our lead researcher and producer here at Unexplained Places. She'll share why mysterious locations like the one you're about to explore have captured her imagination, and how you can help us uncover more hidden places like these around the world. The hotel was the brainchild of Freeland Oscar Stanley, an inventor best known for co-creating the Stanley Steamer automobile. After being diagnosed with tuberculosis, Stanley traveled west on the advice of doctors, hoping the clean mountain air might prolong his life. The effect was miraculous. Not only did he recover, but he fell in love with the Estes Park area. Determined to bring a touch of East Coast sophistication to the rustic mountain frontier, Stanley built a grand hotel that offered electricity, telephones, en-suite bathrooms, and even a fleet of steam-powered vehicles to shuttle guests around, a marvel of luxury in its day. But beneath the polished veneer of the Stanley lies something stranger, an atmosphere that countless visitors have described as otherworldly. Reports of ghost sightings and supernatural encounters have dogged the hotel for decades, evolving from whispers into full-blown lore. Guests have spoken of strange cold spots, disembodied voices, apparitions, and objects that move on their own. Many claim that F.O. Stanley himself still walks the halls, especially the lobby and the billiard room, where he spent much of his leisure time in life. His wife, Flora Stanley, is said to haunt the music room, occasionally heard playing the piano late at night when no one else is around. It's room 217 that holds the most intrigue. In 1911, a housekeeper named Elizabeth Wilson was nearly killed in an explosion caused by a gas leak in room 217. Though she survived, stories began to circulate of her lingering spirit tidying up for guests long after her death, folding clothes, unpacking bags, and turning lights on and off. It was this very room where, decades later, a young horror novelist named Stephen King checked in for a night that would change literary history. King and his wife Tabitha arrived at the Stanley in the fall of 1974, just as the hotel was closing for the winter. They were the only guests. As they wandered the vast, empty halls and dined in the grand but deserted restaurant, a strange unease crept in. That night, King had a vivid nightmare of his young son being chased through the hotel's corridors by a fire hose come to life. He woke up drenched in sweat, stepped out onto the balcony with a cigarette, and by the time he stubbed it out, the seed for The Shining had been planted. In King's novel, Room 217 became the setting of one of the book's most terrifying scenes. When Stanley Kubrick adapted the novel into his 1980 film, he changed the haunted room's number from 217 to 237. This was reportedly done at the request of the Timberline Lodge in Oregon, which served as the exterior for the fictional Overlook Hotel, to avoid deterring guests from a real Room 217. Ironically, this only heightened curiosity, and the original Room 217 at the Stanley Hotel became the most requested room by thrill-seekers and paranormal investigators alike. Kubrick's adaptation, while now considered a cinematic masterpiece, took many liberties with the source material, much to King's dismay. The author was especially critical of Jack Nicholson's portrayal of Jack Torrance, believing the film stripped the character of his humanity. In response, King wrote and produced a 1997 television miniseries adaptation of The Shining, which was filmed on location at the Stanley Hotel. This version leaned more heavily into the supernatural elements of the story and served as a love letter to the place that had first inspired him. The Stanley's pop culture presence only grew from there. It has been featured in multiple television shows, including Ghost Hunters, Ghost Adventures, and BuzzFeed Unsolved. Even actor Jim Carrey fled the hotel in the middle of the night during the filming of Dumb and Dumber, which used the Stanley as a backdrop. Though Carrey has never publicly explained why, rumors persist that his experience in Room 217 was too disturbing to discuss. In more recent years, the hotel has embraced its haunted heritage. It offers regular ghost tours, paranormal investigations, and even a Shining Ball event around Halloween. Guests come not just for the mountain views, but for the chance to touch the veil between this world and the next. Ownership of the Stanley has changed hands several times over the last century. In the 1990s, the hotel was purchased by the Grand Heritage Hotel Group, which began renovations to restore its former grandeur. Eventually, John W. Cullen took over and invested significantly in preservation efforts, branding the Stanley as both a luxury destination and a supernatural hotspot. Today, the Stanley Hotel stands as a powerful symbol of the American fascination with the unknown. It is a place where history, fiction, and the unexplained intertwine, where the ghosts of the past are not just remembered but invited in. Whether you come for the luxury, the legends, or the lingering echoes of The Shining, one thing is certain. Once you check into the Stanley Hotel, you may never fully check out.
Places like this capture my imagination because they often have roots in real history and legend. That's exactly the perspective I love to write from, as close to reality as possible with just enough mystery to make you wonder. If you know of other places like this, haunted locations, alien encounters, or unexplained phenomena, I'd love to hear about them. Drop a comment below or send me an email. You'll find the link in the description. Who knows, your story might just inspire the next video or even a chapter in my upcoming book.